What's up guys, in this video, I'm gonna talk about how to manage your money like the 1%. Now, you may not make money like the 1% yet, but a step to getting there is managing it like them. So stay tuned and we'll go over it in this video. Now, an interesting fact is that most Americans don't even have a $1,000 emergency fund, meaning that Americans were asked if they had an emergency, how much money do they have saved up? And most Americans said less than $1,000. I can't remember the percentage, but I think it was 80 or 90%. Now, think of how crazy that is, that's how many Americans are living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. So the first tip is managing your expenses. I know this sounds basic and it's like, oh duh, Tanner, but most people, believe it or not, they don't actually manage their money whatsoever. So two tools that I would recommend is mint.com and personalcapital.com. Now, I personally prefer mint.com, but they both work and it's a great way to actually sync your bank account and it will show and categorize each and every expense for the month. So when you know what you're measuring, it's a lot easier to adjust rather than, you get $5,000 a month, you spend it and it's gone. Now you actually know where it's going. So as basic as this may sound, the first thing I would do is make sure that you're managing your expenses and using one of those app platforms. More than likely, what'll end up happening is if you start doing that, you'll probably save about 10% on your expenses, which can end up being quite a bit of money over a year's time. And if you make a little more money than the average person, I would highly recommend maybe getting a bookkeeper or a CPA who can track your expenses. And every single month I actually get a profit and loss so I can send it to my accountant and we can adjust and try to tweak things inside the business if it's necessary. Now, step number two is if you don't have an emergency fund or you're one of those people who have $1,000 or less, go ahead and start saving to create 3 to 6 months of emergency funds. The thing is that every time we need help in life, typically it's a little too late. So what I would recommend is whether your car breaks down, your house gets flooded, you get in an accident, you have a medical emergency, God forbid, these things happen. Yet a lot of times this is where we start going into massive debt because we have not prepared anything in advance. So if you don't have an emergency fund, go ahead and start stashing away cash for 3 to 6 months. And this is a fund that is not to be touched. This isn't like, you use it for arcade games or you use it for the movie theaters or you use it for date nights. This is an emergency fund. It's only to be used in actual emergency. So step number two is start saving that cash up and get that 3 to 6 months of emergency funds. Now, step number three is if you're not an entrepreneur specifically, this is really gonna help, or maybe you work for an entrepreneur and he offers this benefit, but there is a 401k matching employee something. I don't remember what you call it, but basically what it means is that your employer will match your 401k contribution. So for example, if you put in 10,000, they'll put in 10,000. If you put in 5,000, they'll put in 5,000 up to a certain limit. So if you think about it, that is free money for your retirement that is being matched for everything you put in. So one of the best things you can do is go ahead and max out your 401k matching plan with your employer. Now I know there's probably some smarter way to say it, but due to my knowledge, that is how it works. And so if your employer has a $100,000 ceiling, put in as much money as you can to match that. So in case you ever need it or when you go to retire, it's sitting there ready for you to use. Also, just a tidbit for those who are self-employed, what yours is called is a SEP 401k. Now that's something I use in my business, so I get more tax write-offs and it's just something my CPA and accountant tell me to do. So I would highly recommend if you're self-employed to do it that way, or if you have an employer, go ahead and do the 401k price matching. It's a super easy way to make a lot more money for basically doing nothing extra. Now, step number four, probably is obvious as well, is to start paying off your credit card debts. Now, there's two different ways you could do this. You have what is kind of called the AVALANCHE method, and then I can't remember what the other one is, but it's what Dave Ramsey recommends. And I'll be honest, nothing against Dave Ramsey. I don't recommend most of the stuff he says. I think most of his advice is for, more poverty type situations. It's not for the average person or even those who are a little more wealthy. So The Avalanche method is what I recommend, is take your highest percentage interest card or credit card and start paying that off. And then you go to your next highest interest credit card and you pay that off. To me, that makes the most sense because obviously if you have a 20% APR credit card or something like that, the more you let that run, the more money you're actually paying in the end. The other method is you could go the other way up. So you pay off your smallest credit card, so maybe it's 500 bucks on it, then you pay off your next one, that maybe is 1,000, and then 5,000, and so on and so forth. So you're going the other way up. Now, the only reason you want to do this is for psychological benefits. Some studies say that, showing that, hey, I paid off this first card, it makes them feel good, they feel accomplished, and then it makes them more likely to keep going. So it just depends on your personality, but if you look from a strictly financial standpoint, going from the top to the bottom makes a whole lot more sense than going from the bottom to the top. So step number 4 is obviously pay off all those credit card debts. I would start with your highest interest personally and work your way down. I think the other way, if it psychologically helps you, cool, but ultimately you're gonna pay more money, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Step number 5 is you have to start investing in yourself. So what a lot of people do, and the reason they stay stuck, is that all that extra money they're bringing in, they basically invest it into toys and cars and houses. And a lot of people will look at me now, and next week you'll see in one of my videos my new penthouse that I just got, and it's super nice, but it wasn't always that way, right? What I initially did is when I was working at Olive Garden, I was doing door-to-door sales, is every extra dollar I got, I was investing it into coaches and courses. And that's part of my story, is that my first $50,000 I made went straight to coaches to get help with my business. And even though not all of them were the best, it did pay off because I learned a ton of stuff extremely fast, and it's got me in the position I am today. So what I would recommend is start investing in yourself. Don't, just stash your money away or go buy stupid stuff. After you've made your emergency fund, you've paid off your credit cards, and you've done your 401k matching, start investing in yourself or start doing it at the same time. It doesn't mean 100% of your money has to go to each one of those areas, but it is in level of importance, meaning that if you have any of that debt or you don't have emergency funds, I would definitely focus on that first before you start blowing a lot of money on investing in yourself. But ultimately, investing in yourself is gonna get you to where you wanna go financially, whether it's starting a business or you learn a new skill that helps you make more money. Ultimately, that's what separates someone who is poor versus someone who is rich, is the skills they have and what they can bring to the marketplace. Step number 6 is to invest. Now, while there's a lot of advice out there on what you could invest in, what I would highly recommend is investing in whole life insurance policies to begin with. So I don't want someone to try to twist this to make it sound like I'm giving, this is the ultimatum and I don't invest in other things. I do, but this is the base. A whole life insurance policy, first off, is pretty much guaranteed. There's very little risk. You could put in, let's say it's a $50,000 policy, and you put in $50,000. Each year, you'll probably get anywhere between 3 to 7% interest for the rest of your life, plus the death benefits and the dividends that come from that. Now, here's the cool part. You can pull against those funds. So essentially what you're doing is you put the money in the policy, and let's say you go buy a house, you go to buy a car, etc. The cool thing is that if you pull from those $50,000, you're gonna go and use that money on, say, a house down payment, and it still accrues interest and grows as long as you pay it back. So that is the cool thing. Now, the downside is obviously you have to build up your capital to get to that point. But if you look at the stock market and you look at a lot of the other investments out there, none of them are as safe or as good. You have to make your first investment your safest investment. Okay, there's no other reason to put it in the stock market or put it in risky investments when you have to have that money guaranteed, meaning when you retire, you cannot afford to lose that money. Now, if you have a little more extra money or you're a little wealthier, obviously there's a little more aggressive options, but to begin, I would highly recommend this. Just trust me on it. I've talked to a lot of different advisors, and they all will recommend the same thing. Even Warren Buffett has a lot of these types of policies. So if you need help with that, you could comment down below and I can put you in the right direction. No, I don't get paid for it. I don't have affiliate links, anything like that, but I do know guys who could help set this up. So that would be number 6. Now, step number 7 is to start investing that money into other places. So after you have that kind of ground-based layer, you can start doing real estate or condos or stocks, whatever. I don't know all the different investments, to be fully transparent, but I have a really good team of advisors who, you know, I'm watching where the money's going, I'm seeing how it's being spent, and it kind of gives me peace of mind to know what I can expect and what the risk is and stuff like that. So those are gonna be the 7 steps that I would recommend to manage your money like the top 1%. Now, ultimately, to get to where you wanna go, you're gonna have to have some type of business or work for someone who's gonna provide that opportunity. But in the meantime, or while you're doing that, make sure that you're saving the way you should. Make sure that you're paying off your credit card bills the way you should. Make sure that you're investing the way you should so that you set yourself up for long-term wins. So that's all I got in this video, guys. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe down below, share this with someone that you know could benefit, and I'll see you guys in the next video.